Call this meeting to order. Welcome to meeting number 108 of the House of Commons Standing Committee on Government Operations and Estimates, fondly known as the mighty OGGO. Thank you to Northern Perspectives for that shout out as well for the mighty OGGO. Pursuant to Standing Order 1083C and the motion adopted by the committee on Monday, October 17th, 2022, the committee is meeting to consider matters related to the ArriveCAN application. As always, a reminder not to put earpieces next to the microphones as it causes feedback and potential injury to our very vital translation department. Thank you very much. Welcome back, Mr. Firth, to OGGO. Just quickly, colleagues, just to explain, Mr. Firth's lawyer, Mr. Brent Timmins, will be with us throughout the meeting with his client. He is not, Mr. Timmins, though, is not a witness, and thus he may not address the committee. The counsel may be on Zoom call with the witness, and they may speak directly to their clients, but not to the committee or committee members. I note for committee members that they should only question the witness and not speak or ask questions of the lawyer who is not appearing as a witness. Mr. Firth may, from time to time, refer to and talk to Mr. Timmins, in which case he will turn off his mic. If it is during one of your interventions, we will pause the clock for that moment. We will suspend for 10 minutes after the first two rounds to give Mr. Firth and Mr. Timmins, as well as members, a break. And then after that, it'll be every 2 rounds we will break for, or we'll suspend for 5 minutes. My intent, colleagues, is to have the clerk swear in Mr. Firth, if that is fine with everyone. I see that, Mr. Clerk. We'll go ahead. And then we'll have Mr. Firth for an opening 5 minutes.
Yes, Mr. Firth, I just sent you an email. You have the choice of either a religious oath or a solemn affirmation. I'll perhaps give yourself and Mr. Timmins a second to see that email, but I can also walk you through that. So please do let me know if you prefer the oath or the solemn affirmation.
The oath, please.
Okay, in the case of the oath, I will read the following passage and you can respond. Do you swear that the evidence you shall give on this examination shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Firth. We'll turn the floor over to you for an opening statement. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you. This is my third time before the committee. I've been compelled to be here. The last month, virtually everything reported about my company in the media and stated about me and my company has been false. I have submitted to the committee a complete list of all contracts we've been awarded from the government in our history. I have included the nominal value of the contract, and more importantly, the full amounts we have invoiced the government under those contracts. We have also included the total amount we have paid our subcontractors under those contracts. And as you can see, the amounts paid to GC Strategies are not the astronomical amount being claimed by some committee members. Since my last appearance before you, this committee has summoned many departments and their representatives with whom we have had dealings. The committee informed each of these representatives that we were criminals, forgers, and fraudulent. The committee said that if they did not terminate all our contracts and suspend our ability to obtain contracts, that they were negligent and complicit in misusing taxpayer money. The committee also strongly encouraged each department to refer these matters to the RCMP. As a result, and not surprisingly, each department complied, terminating our agreements and our ability to continue government work. In addition, they have confirmed the matters have been requested and referred to the RCMP for investigation. As a result, although I welcome an independent investigation, for it will exonerate me, and the committee has not chosen to wait for the results of that investigation, I will not be able to answer questions about the matters referred to the RCMP. I trust you'll understand. GC Strategies has appeared before this committee twice, giving hours of testimony. We have also cooperated throughout the entire study and provided all documentation requested of us. We have been portrayed as reluctant witnesses by some committee members and media. However, the truth is, we've always been accessible, willing to answer committee members' questions in writing. The committee has not once reached out for a response to question. Instead, the committee exercised the most extreme measures, and we had the full weight of the government come down on us, compelling us to be here by subpoena, knowing full well this is against medical advice as outlined in our doctor's notes we have provided as part of the evidence package. I'm certain any medical professional would attest that the threat of arrest and detainment would cause undue stress. Since our first publicized appearance, myself and my business partner have received hundreds of threatening and abusive emails, all of which have been documented and they have been shared. I would read these aloud, but to be frank, they are vile and not suitable for any audience. The nature of these communications, threatening our lives and the lives of our family and children, have given rise to our reasonable ask for future appearances to not be televised. The chair unanimously and without justification denied our request, intent on isolating Mr. Anthony and myself from one another and broadcasting to the result of the widest possible audience. Over the past few months, we've had images of our homes and the addresses of our personal dwellings published across media titles, journalists turning up to our private property, confronting family members, and our young children approached, and their privacy violated with strangers taking photographs of them whilst in the hockey changing rooms. Surely the members of this committee can agree this isn't acceptable output from this process. We offered to appear in public, but requested not to be televised over these concerns. We were rejected, we've been separated, and we're being televised. We can only conclude that this televised nature of today's meeting aids in political goal scoring while simultaneously using us as media fodder at the expense of our health and the safety of our families. This is neither fair nor reasonable. I've shown up and will answer questions to the best of my ability, but may require frequent breaks. I will answer questions for as long as I am able, but cannot guarantee I will be able to make it all the way through. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Firth. And we just ask if you do require a different break that you just advise us and let us know. We'll start with Mr. Barrett for 6 minutes, please.
Mr. Firth, it's correct that you have legal counsel with you this morning?
That's correct.
So this is the first time of your appearances where you have a lawyer present but didn't in previous appearances. Have you ever lied to a parliamentary committee before?
I think your previous testimony, you see the answer with that one, about the chalet and the cottage.
So is that a yes?
I advise you to go and watch my previous testimony.
Well, I was there, and I asked the question, and of course, you did lie about Mr. McDonald's secondary residence, quite famously on it not being a cottage, but in fact it being a chalet. Further, you lied about meeting government officials outside of government offices, and further, you lied about providing hospitality to government officials. There was a great deal of information that was requested of you that was not furnished to the committee, promising to tell the committee who in government contacted you about ArriveCAN. That information hasn't been provided to us. You didn't disclose meetings with government officials, and you failed to provide documentation that the committee has asked you for. Last week, government officials announced that files concerning GC strategies, role and involvement in ARRIVESCAM have been sent to the RCMP. Did the government make you aware of that? Yes or no, please?
No, they have not.
Has the RCMP contacted you about ArriveCAN?
No, they have not.
So the RCMP has further, they have not interviewed you.
That is correct.
Have you been contacted by the RCMP about any work relating to any companies or ventures that you're involved in and their work with the Government of Canada or government officials?
No, I have not.
Do you know if your partner, Darren Anthony, has been contacted by the RCMP to the same effect?
I do know, and he has not.
If requested by the RCMP, will GC Strategies, files, computers, emails, cell phones, and any area where data is stored or devices that have been used to communicate with the Government of Canada as part of their investigation into the ArriveScam, will you will you voluntarily submit that information to the RCMP?
We will deal directly with the RCMP once they contact us.
Sir, how much did you state in your previous appearance before this committee were you paid to work on ArriveCAN?
For the ArriveCAN application build, which is what we gave our numbers to the committee for last year, we said it was approximately $11 million was the application build.
Okay. The Auditor General, though you've said that all of the reporting about your company since your last appearance has been false, there's been heavy media reporting about the work of Canada's Auditor General. She detailed a different number. Is the information that the Auditor General has submitted incorrect?
Yes, it is. We actually were asked by the Auditor General to give comment prior to the report being published, whether we could support the numbers that they were putting in there. And actually, if you remember from my last previous testimony when I was ridiculed and being called disingenuous for not having the true cost of ArriveCAN, we discussed the fact that there were 3 COVID-19 pandemic contracts. There was not one that was solely set aside for ArriveCAN. So I can understand why it was hard for the Auditor General, with her also indicating that some of the task authorizations for ArriveCAN could have had resources doing no work. Since my testimony and how I got the numbers there, I painstakingly went through every single invoice, spoke to every consultant, and got an understanding of what their level of effort was for the ArriveCAN application build. And my numbers were in line with what Mr. Utano testified last time.
Okay. That's information that you ought to have had at your last appearance, but I'll take the Auditor General's word that that the number was in excess of $19 million, which of course is not the number that you submitted to this committee. At your second appearance before this committee, you testified that you did not meet with government officials outside of government offices, and we now know that you did that on multiple occasions. Why did you lie to this committee?
It was not a lie. I just was unaware. I hadn't checked all of my Outlook, but I can tell the committee today that I have met with officials outside of work.
Of course, we know that, sir, and we understand that you're telling us that now, having been caught in the lie. The question is, why did you believe it was necessary to attempt that deception before this parliamentary committee?
It wasn't a deception. I just wasn't informed of all the meetings that I had or had not had. I wouldn't have access to my Outlook.
What are the names of all of the government officials that you have met with outside of government offices?
I'm more than happy to provide that information in writing, but I'm not prepared to do that right now televised.
Are you able to name a single? Well, sir, it's not your discretion which answers that you're able to provide in writing. I'm asking you a question. Are you refusing to answer the question?
No, I gave you my answer. I'm not refusing to answer the question. I will give you the names.
So what are the names, sir? What are the names, sir?
That is, yeah, I have to interrupt. That is our time. Perhaps we can get back to it in the next round. Mr. Sousa, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Firth, before we begin, have you ever been approached separately by any individual members of this committee or any other committee besides the chair?
No, I
Have
have
people
not.
tried to reach out to you?
Nobody from the committee has.
Okay. And you've already indicated how much you've received for work you've done relative to the contracts with ArriveCAN. How much was that?
I gave over on October approximately $11 million worth of invoices.
And how much commission was that? How much did you receive for your services? I know you have costs there, right?
Yeah, but this is the gross number. Would be approximately $2.5 million was gross.
You mean net to you?
Net to me.
Great.
Less expenses. That's exactly gross. Less expenses, less tax.
I understand. In terms of politicians, has any elected officials ever approached you to negotiate a contract?
No, we have not.
Has any politicians or members of parliament in the past approached you to do a contract?
No, sir.
So your involvement, let's understand Cordell system for a sec. Explain to me that relationship and your involvement with that company.